Welcome to Winter Wheeling. I had initially been planning a really cool winter camping trip. However, when I went to load my four-wheeler up, I found that I didn't have any brakes. Upon further inspection, I found I didn't have any front wheel bearings either. So my camping trip was put on hold, and I had to do a little vehicle maintenance. Following that maintenance, I took my machine out to make sure that everything was running fine before I hauled all my camp gear out and got stuck somewhere. Being stuck in the middle of nowhere is never fun. However, being stuck in the middle of nowhere in the wintertime would be a real drag. So this video is really just a test drive to make sure that everything works fine, and it was an opportunity to take advantage of a fantastic day. This glacial valley is surrounded by mountains, and these mountains are home to a lot of animals. In the wintertime, when the snow piles up in the mountain, animals from all around migrate down and inhabit this valley. So through the course of this video, you'll see lots of animal tracks that traverse across the trail. Many of the trails in these lowlands are just wide enough to get a wheeler through. A side-by-side would be a little crowded. Additionally, many of the trails become flooded in the fall and just become sheets of ice underneath the snow. Further, in the winter, once the streams, rivers, and creeks in this area all freeze, a person can navigate them, but you need to be careful. The weather in the week prior to this trip had been in the 20s, and on the weekend it dropped down to 0 or sub-zero temperatures. In these sub-zero temperatures, it's easy to be lulled into thinking that the ice is safe. However, there are areas where the ice is not very thick. Additionally, in the sub-zero temperatures, many times the ice freezes over on the top, the water quits flowing, and the water that was underneath the ice flows away and leaves air pockets underneath the ice that can collapse under the weight of a machine. The last hazard that I want to mention here is the hazard of flowing water underneath the ice. And so when the ice is relatively thin and you have water flowing underneath it, that water is above the temperature of freezing. And so it is slowly eroding away at the ice that's above it, creating thin ice. Therefore, a person wants to avoid these areas. Where are these areas, you ask? Well, the flowing water is going to be in the deeper channels, in the middle of the river, and along cut bank. And so, to the greatest degree possible, you want to stay on the banks of the river or on the shallow side of the river. two last pieces of ice information I would like to share. Number one, ice is never safe to be on. Number two, they say that 4 inches of ice is plenty of ice to support the weight of a person, while 5 to 7 inches of ice is plenty to support the weight of a snow machine or a four-wheeler. But again, remember, ice is never safe to travel on. The best way to get a four-wheeler stuck is to get it high-centered. To demonstrate how much ground clearance a four-wheeler has, I attempted to drive over the top of my GoPro. Major fail. That said, the GoPro was fine. This time of year, the days aren't long, and the darkness comes on quick. The sun is already set, eagle's nest, and it's time to get heading back. For more Alaska adventures, don't forget to subscribe.